Hello and welcome to my channel Pimby Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. On this channel I do tutorials of different looks, I do comparison of one palette to the other, I do swatches, I do hauls, and in 2023 we're definitely going to be talking about money as well. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the variety of content on this channel. This year is going to be a very interesting one on this channel. Okay, let's get into today's video. So in today's video I'm going to be ranking my all shimmer palettes. I've got a total of 14 palettes and I'm going to be ranking them. Alright, the reason I'm going to be ranking my palette because it was a difficult thing for me to do, a really difficult thing. If you are not new to this channel, you know I love shimmers. Shimmers are my thing. Shimmers palettes are, they're everything. They're everything. I prefer shimmers to mattes. So this ranking feels like a nightmare. In fact, to make my decision it took a long time. I'm not even joking, it took days to make up my mind. Which one do I rank in 14th place? I mean, the palette I ranked in the first place was possibly the easiest because it was just, it was effortless. But ranking the rest, it was a nightmare, honestly. A real struggle. And the reason it was such a struggle is because every 14 of this palette are amazing. As in, even number 14 is amazing. So my intention is after this video, I want to try and swatch all of my shimmer palettes, you know, and post them on Instagram so that every time I see a new palette coming out on Instagram, I can kind of like just go to my post and compare and just remind myself that I do not need a new all shimmer palette. So yeah, that is the reason, all of the reasons why I'm ranking all my all shimmer palettes today. So let's get into it. Remember, I said all of these palettes are amazing. But in 14th place, I'm going to be ranking Galactic palettes from Gourmand Girls Cosmetics. And the only reason why this is coming in the 14th place is because it's 6 shades. I mean, look, it's just 6 shades. But it is amazing. Look, just look at that. How amazing is this? You just see the flip of colors. I don't even need to swatch it, but it is beautiful. And by the way, I've got swatches of this palette on my channel, so I'm not going to be swatching any shade in this palette today. But just look at the beauty of this. Absolutely amazing. It is an amazing palette, but I'm ranking it in the 14th position. In 13th place is the Hyperchrome palette from Pink Crush Cosmetics. And this one, I love all the shades in this palette. I love them separately. I've mentioned this in a few of my videos. I love each and every one separately, almost like singles. This is one of the palettes I would definitely be deporting because if you look at it, it's like a palette of singles really. None of the colors really speak to each other. Yeah, maybe the purples at most you can use together. 1, 2, maybe this and this, but the rest are just colors different, you know, red, you've got your pink, you've got green there. They're just like a bunch of singles. It's almost like I build my own palette and I just put different singles in the palette. To me, that's what it kind of feels like. And yeah, definitely this is going to be one of the ones I'll be deporting. So Hyperchrome palette is being ranked in 13th position. In 12th place is Dancing in the Sky from Gloss Gods. Now this palette is an amazing palette and I love it. The reason why I'm ranking it in 12th position is quite different to the others. It's because it's just one color. I mean, yes, variation, you've got like your bronzy green, you've got like your silver green, but at the end of the day it's still all greens. It's a family of green. I can't get a pink look out of this, nor can I get a blue look out of this. It's going to be green, some variation of green, and yeah, that is the only reason I'm ranking this one in 12th place. This one is amazing. In fact, I've got 4 shimmer palettes from Gloss Gods and they are all beautiful. Now this is a mixture of different formulas, so you've got like your velvety shade, and I'm just going to swatch 4 shades which has 4 different formulas. So you've got your smooth formula, then you've got your like your chunky, I won't even call them chunky, not really chunky but they are not smooth, and then you've got like your multichrome, duochrome, and then you've got like your topper. So swatching the smooth one first. It's just amazing. So this is what I'm talking about. It looks chunky but it's not really chunky because if you can blend it properly, but in the pan it is chunky and it's definitely not as smooth as the first one I swatched. So that is your topper. It is an amazing palette. Look at that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just one color story, and that's the only reason I'm ranking it in the 12th place. Alright, in the 11th place is Dennis & Marik's Lightwork Volume 3. I mean, if you have this palette, you know how beautiful this palette is. But I mean, I've got 14, so it's just, this is what I'm talking about. Honestly, it was torture to rank this palette. Look how beautiful this palette is, and I have no choice but to put it in the 11th place because that's just where it's ranking. I mean, for a start, it's only 8 shades, and then the colors are not so varied. It's just like what, green, purples, then I don't even know what this is, like a bronzy, not like a very exciting color. Then you've got like your potty ones. I do love this ones. I absolutely love this one. I kind of wish that there is 4 of this in this palette. It is beautiful. So this potty one, the beauty of this potty one is the fact that you can put it on any color of matte and it will transform that matte, and you can also lay it on shimmers. Look at that. You can lay it on shimmers and it will transform that shade and transform the formula. It's absolutely amazing. It is a beautiful formula. It is a beautiful shadow. I absolutely love it, especially in the inner corner. Oh, it is beautiful. It doesn't crease. That's the surprising thing. It's potty, but it doesn't crease. Whether you use glitter primer or you don't use glitter primer, it doesn't crease. I don't know how she does it. I really don't know how she does it. Yeah, but the Lightwork Volume 3 is being ranked in 11th place. In 10th place is Adept Cosmetics Plain Jane Remastered Palette. Now mine is not it's not how it came. I've put different things inside, so this is what the inside of my Plain Jane looks like at the moment. I've got like a deported Pimby palette, Plain Makeup by Yolondo. The Vigorously palette, I deported the Vigorously palette is exactly the same, you know, size as the Adept Cosmetic one. So my Plain Jane shades are all over. I've now got 4 palettes from Adept Cosmetics, so I've mixed all the shadows. So this is my Edda Wiston. This is just by the way, and this is what I have inside Edda Wiston now. So it's just all over the place. This is my Amulet palette, and this is what I've got inside my Amulet palette now. I'm so loving it. I'm enjoying it. Honestly, any brand that does this kind of palette is such a an asset. It's an asset because you can build your own shade, you can build your own palette. And this is the inside of my, what do you even call this palette? Nihindrin? Yeah, you should be seeing a picture of the Plain Jane Remastered palette. I'll put that on the screen. I just can't be bothered to put mine back together the way I bought it. Yeah, because what's the point? I'm just going to keep on mixing it. But it is the palette I'm ranking in 10th place. Alright, in 9th place is Pink Crush Cosmetics Phenomenal palette. Again, this palette for me is slightly disjointed. Yeah, it's beautiful. All the shades are beautiful. But I feel like the color story is not so much of a color story. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 are speaking to each other, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of like pieces of different colors, you know, scattered all over the palette. That's the way I feel anyway. And as I progress in the ranking, you will see what I mean by the palettes not being a color story, because some of these ones are color story and they make more sense, especially when you're using them to create looks. But for this one, this is the kind of palette that I like to pull out with, like an all matte palette, you know, that has different shades. Yeah, this is good for it because this, if I don't know what I want to create and I just want to maybe carry it downstairs or something, or carry it somewhere and I haven't made up my mind yet, this is good because then I have different options. I can go blue, I can go green, or whatever. I like it for that. But in terms of being a color story or in terms of inspiration, if you're going to create a proper look, you know, like different shades, yeah, this not so much. All of the shades individually absolutely beautiful, but for the fact that it's not coherent, it's not like I can't like get a lot of inspiration from it, that's why I'm ranking it in the 9th place. In 8th place is Radioactive palette from Goman Girls Cosmetics. Now I have 3 all shimmer palettes from Goman Girls, so this is the second one, and I'm ranking the Radioactive in 8th place. Now again, this Radioactive is slightly the same reason as the Phenomenal palette. Again, look at this. this one, some of the shades speak to each other, but at the end of the day, it's not like pow wow in your face. Yeah, it's got red. I love red. It's got purple. Not so much. Quite a few of the shades in here are variation of purples. Even this ones, they've got like green flips, but depending on where you turn it to, is mostly purple. Yeah, and that's the only reason. But I absolutely love this row, especially to create a look. Is absolutely beautiful, and this red makes this palette for me. In fact, it's possibly one of the deciding factors in getting this palette, because it's so rare to find red shimmers. I love red. I love red. So any palette that has gorgeous red, be it red matte or a beautiful red shimmer, I'm always going to be attracted to that palette. Yeah, so I love the Radioactive palette. Absolutely gorgeous. But again, you will see the other ones I'll be ranking in higher place. You know, they've got some sort of vavavoom, so you know, some sort of oomph to them. But yeah, Radioactive palette is number 8. In 7th place is the Paint Me Chrome palette by Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. Now I've sang praises of this palette over and over on this channel. It is an absolutely beautiful palette. I mean, I love the packaging, and I also love the inside of the palette. Look at that. It's variation of shades. Now, some shades speak to each other, some are just unique. What I like about this palette is just the fact that it is very, even though some of the colors don't speak to each other, just one shade could speak a lot of, you know, it could speak a lot. And most of the shades are actually like transformational, if you like, a little bit like, you know, when you put a shimmer on a matte and it changes color depending on the color of matte that you use. So you could use, for example, this shade here, putting it on different color of matte, you will get different outcome basically. So you can put it on green, it looks different. You put it on red and it looks different. You know, that's what I like about palettes, you know, when you just use one shade and it's absolutely beautiful. And I love the flip, you know, of this palette. Sometimes some shades, they look the way they are, but by the time they appear on the eyes, they are different. In 6th place is another palette from Gloss Gods, and this is the one called Gal on the Moon. I've wanted this palette. This is how I got to know Gloss Gods, but by the time I wanted to buy it, it was out of stock, and it was out of stock for a long time, so I had to get their latest one. The one I ranked in 12th place, Dancing in the Sky, and some other one. So those were the ones I had to buy because I couldn't get my hands on this one. But this is the Gal on the Moon, and it's been ranked in 6th position. Now this one, the only reason I'm ranking this in the 6th position is the colors. Is because of the colors, because it's predominantly purple, really. Yeah, a few greens, but at the end of the day, it's still a purple color story. Yeah, purple color story with blue, then green. Yeah, that is not so exciting for me in terms of color choices, but the beauty in this palette is absolutely amazing. So this is what I call flaky, and you can see on in the pan as well, it looks flaky. When you put them on the eye, I'm going to try as much as possible. Don't know if you can see this, but I'll turn it over in a bit. This is what I'm talking about. So when you put it on the eye, it just melts. It might look flaky in the pan, but it just melts on the lid. Absolutely beautiful. This is why I love their formula. And then you've got your velvety ones. Oh, they are smooth and beautiful. We've got one or two toppers in each of the palettes, but they are beautiful. I mean, look at that. These are awful swatches. I'm so tired. You have no idea what time it is right now. But I mean, look at this. So beautiful. But for me, it's the color story. I mean, purples, blues, yeah, not so exciting. Yes, when I'm creating look, I might create, you know, a nice look from these colors, but in terms of I want to say the attractiveness when I look at the palette, yeah, that's why I'm ranking it in the 6th place. Right, in 5th place is the Shimmer Down palette from Slay Ready Cosmetics. Now, this is not like your metallics or whatever. These are just shimmers. Shimmers and, you know, your normal, usual metallic that we were used to. But these are like shiny metallics, not like your mediocre metallics. This is an all shimmer palette. Hence the name, Shimmer Down palette. Absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to bring it closer. Some colors in this palette I haven't seen them in any palette, you know, whether it be a mixed palette or anything, but it is absolutely beautiful. There is no color story you cannot create from this palette. I love this for during the week because with this one you don't need a glitter primer. 4 shades. You might wet your brush or whatever, but you do not need a glitter primer. You just need, look how beautiful that. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely yummy. You don't need a glitter primer. You just need to kind of like lay them on the eyes, blend them with the brush, and you are done. You are done with your look. Absolutely beautiful. I love this palette. I honestly love this palette. My issue is usually that I like to pack on as many shimmers as possible, and the fact that it's not like sparkly is part of what the attraction is for me, because it's not all the time that you can go out with sparkly looks or whatever. Even though if I had my way, I would go out with sparkly looks all the time, and these days it's hard to find shimmers like this in normal palettes. So for me to have a whole palette of this formula, yeah, I absolutely love that, and that's why I'm ranking it in the 5th place. In 4th place is the Ethereal palette from Gourmand Girls Cosmetics. This is actually the palette that actually made me, you know, buy palettes from them or even notice them so much. This palette is gorgeous. I mean, don't let the packaging fool you. Let's see if I can bring this closer. The color story I absolutely love. Now, I like the fact that some contrast, they're like opposite of each other, and some kind of like match each other. You know, that is the beauty of this palette, and that's kind of what drew me in. The fact that in creating a looks you can have contrast. I mean, if you've seen a few of my looks, you know that, especially when I'm putting a lot of shimmers on my lid, I like it to be like distinct so that you can have depth and you can have, I want to say, variation from each other. So imagine, well, let me see, imagine these 3 on the lid. You can see that there is variation. There is variation. You can, you know, the beauty will stand out from each other. It's not like one will blend into another. Let's say, so they are coordinating slightly and they are contrasting at the same time. That is the beauty of this palette for me. I also love the kind of colors that are in the palette. I mean, if you go back and maybe watch this video and see the palette I've shown you previously, you can see that some of this palette have the set of the same kind of shades. Yeah, it might be put in different slots, but it's like, you know, your bronzy, your pinkish color, but this one is just, is different and unique. The kind of colors that in it are just unique, and I just like that about the palette. I mean, look at these 2 especially. I don't know what you can see on this one. I'm seeing red, but when I look at the screen I'm seeing purple blue. Yeah, let's see what it is in actual reality. So let me see. So it's like a, yeah, it's a duochrome, multichrome, I don't know, but I see red, I see purple, and I see blue. Absolutely beautiful. Let's see what the swatch is like. Oh, yeah, again flips. I'm seeing red now, purple, blue. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. So this one is quite a unique one. I mean, look at that gold mixed with all these other colors. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I love this palette. Yeah, and that's why I'm ranking it in 4th place. Okay, we are nearly there. In 3rd place is a palette from Gloss Gods again, and this is called Look for Rainbows. So this is the this is the inside of the palette. Definitely rainbow. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Just look at the reflections. Against each other, bouncing against each other. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, you have your color story there, you have this there, and then you have the contrasting one right at the bottom, the pink and the green with this. So for inner corner, it is gorgeous. Absolutely beautifully curated. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. This palette, every time I look at it, it really makes me smile, honestly. The contrast, again, the similarity of the shades, the uniqueness of this palette, it is gorgeous. I'm not going to swatch it on my hand, but I will show you on my fingers. So I'm beginning to turn into a disco ball now. Look at that. Look at that. Green, pink, purple, then your yellowish orange. And then you have, I don't even know what to call this one. I think this one is a multichrome. So it's like a whitish purple. Can you see? Oh, no, I've got to swatch. Let me swatch. Oh my. I'm going to swatch the one on my thumb next to the green. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. That is yummy. Yeah, this is one gorgeous palette. Yeah, these ones I didn't have difficulty, you know, finding a place in this ranking. These ones are just, they are so beautiful. Yeah, so Gloss Gods Look for Rainbow palette is being ranked in the 3rd place. Okay, 2 more palettes. I think you can guess which one is going to be my number 1 now. In 2nd place is another palette from Gloss Gods, and it's Gal en Masse. Now, if you haven't discovered this brand, you are missing out. Now, I'm not a fan of their matte palette if I don't know what they perform like. For me, when I look at their Instagram or their website, all I can see is the shimmer palette, so I don't know anything about their matte formula, nor do I care to know, because I have no intention of buying their matte palettes unless they come with like extreme metallic beautiful shimmer, like 80% shimmer and 20% matte, and I couldn't resist the shimmer maybe, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the shimmer palette for me. So in 2nd place is the Gal en Masse, and this palette is beautiful. Now, if you know me, I always say that I'm not a fan of purple. If you tilt this palette to one side, you might be seeing purple. I don't know at which stage you will see more of a purple, but at some point again you'll be seeing red. It's a perfect mixture of purple and red. I have never seen such in any palette. I mean, look at this. I don't know what you can see, but I'm seeing a good balance of purple and red. This is a beautiful palette. Even I can't deny the purple, the gorgeousness of the purple shades in this palette, but it is a perfect mixture of red and purple. Absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna just bring it closer. Do you see what I'm saying? You can see the purples and you can see the red instantly from looking at the palette. It is beautiful. I love this palette so much. I like the fact that it surprises me every single time I use the palette. Look at that. Just look at the color story on my fingers. You've got your red, reddish purple, bronzy red. I don't even know what to call them. Okay, let me start from the one on my thumb. Look at that. And then look at the chunky reddish bronze shade. Oh, absolutely amazing. See, it's flaky, but you put it on your skin and it melts. Their formula, I don't even know what to say. And then you have this beautiful, gorgeous red, and this purple red. Oh, I don't even know what to call this one. Bronzy, purple, red. Oh, I'm looking at this. This looks green as I'm bending my finger, but when I turn, it turns into purple. This one, yeah, I'm seeing green here. I don't know what you're seeing. See how beautiful. Look at this color story. It's not something that you see every day. This is absolutely beautiful palette. I haven't seen anything like it. Look at that eyes. This alone as a look on the eyes, just look at the amazingness of this, the beauty. If not for the fact that the palette I'm ranking in the 1st place has, like, you know, some sort of oomph to it, I was so tempted to rank this in the 1st position, because I got this quite late last year, but nevertheless I've not been able to put it down during the week. So the Gal en Masse palette from Gloss God definitely being ranked in the 2nd position. Now, if you've seen my Best of Beauty video, Best of Beauty in 2022 video, then you know which palette I'm ranking in the 1st place, and it's none other than Danessa Mary's Lightwork Volume 4. This palette is beyond everything, beyond everything. When I did my tutorial with this palette, I said this palette has cured me of singles, and I can definitely tell you I bought this palette in August. Since August I bought 2 singles, as in 2 pieces of singles, and they were from Leather Cosmetics. I bought it from Beauty Bay for 2 reasons. I wanted to see whether it would get to me intact. Then the second reason was the 2 shades I bought, I had them in Tanuka shades, but they are it's pan on them, so it's like your reddish shade and your blackish reddish shade. I will show you another time. I will be on my Instagram or something, but those were the 2 singles I bought from Leather Cosmetics through Beauty Bay, and that has been it. If you've been on the channel, then you know that palettes are my first thing. I prefer palettes to singles because it's all in one place rather than scattered, and I have to build a palette, I have to pull it from somewhere. To have a palette together with the shades I want, for me, is always my preference rather than to build them from singles, basically, because I will still have to break, you know, the palette apart, whereas with the palette it stays forever. So yeah, it's always my preference. So when I experienced this palette with the different formulas, the velvet, the glass shades, the metallic liner, the, you know, chrome flakes, I was just blown away. This palette is just everything. Everything, that's what I'm trying to say. I've said a lot about this palette in different videos, and I don't know, just in case you have not seen this palette, or you've not experienced it, or you've not seen anybody use it, I'm just going to swatch 4 shades. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Just I don't know what to say. Look at the texture of that. Look. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. This is the highlight. It's the best, let me just say, it's the best thing I've seen as far as eyeshadow is concerned for years, possibly since I've been using, you know, eyeshadows. It's so amazing to have something as smooth as this. Oh, look at that. Multichromes as well in a palette. It's beyond words. Yeah, for me it's just beyond words. And then to have your plus here, your metallic liners, and then your chrome flakes in the middle, then 2, you know, 2 glass formulas here, this one and this one. Oh, it's I don't know what she was thinking when she created this palette, or what level she was in. It's just, oh, absolutely beautiful. I've got swatches on my channel, and I also did 2 looks with this palette. Absolutely beautiful. I think for the sake of sounding like a broken record, I possibly would not talk about this palette again on my channel, but honestly, if you've seen 1 or 2 videos where I talk about this palette, then you get the message. Or if, in fact, I don't know, go to Sephora, go somewhere, you know, where they have samples, and just swatch the palette yourself. It is amazing. The best thing that came from 2022. So this is revolutionary. This is impressive. This is everything. I don't have the words. Perhaps it's because I'm a, you know, eyeshadow person, or I'm a palette person. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. It's not just about the color story, it's about the texture as well. To have that in a palette is impressive. It's really impressive. So Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 4 palette is definitely been ranked in 1st place. Yeah, so 2022 was definitely a year of shimmer palettes for me. I don't even know you know, how I ended up with 14 shimmer palettes in 1 year, but I do not regret it one little bit. It's amazing. I think prior to all this, I had, well, its Belle palette was, and 2 from Glam Shop. Yeah, I had about 3 all shimmer palettes before 2022, and all of a sudden, you know, from the beginning of the year to the end, it was just all shimmer popping out at me, you know, left, right and center. Honestly, it is amazing. An amazing year of all shimmer palettes. Yeah, so I have been looking forward to ranking this and dreading it at the same time, so I'm glad it's all done. So like I said, I'm gonna depot some of them. Yeah, and I don't know, just, you know, keep using what I've got, because I don't even know how I'm going to finish them. There's no way I'm going to finish them, so what's the point, you know, of buying them any more new palettes? I do not intend to at all. But yeah, that is my ranking of all of my shimmer palettes. Yeah, all the 14 of them. I hope you've enjoyed this ranking and you've enjoyed this video. You've enjoyed hanging out with me. If you have enjoyed hanging out with me today and you've enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.